here.
Absolutely. Everything that Corran Wilson has thrown him, he's come up with the answer and he's won the next frame. He's got to do that again. There's a long way to go in this, but this is a massive frame for both players.
OK, this is frame 29 of a possible 33. Higgins, 2 in front, needing 2 more to book his place in the final. Steve Davis, Dennis Taylor, back to you.
Thank you, Hazel, and
thank you. The 29th frame. John Higgins to break.
Unbelievable atmosphere in the Crucible Theatre for this final session of this pulsating semi-final. Now John has got up behind the yellow a few times from the break-off shot. Has he done it again? It's not far off. And as the boy said, this is a huge frame in the context of this semi-final. This time from the break-off shot, the black tied up. Karen just having a look at the side of the tip of the cue there, but it looks okay. He had problems earlier when, I think it might have been his first round match, where he took a lump out of the tip and he had to put another one on, but it was one that he had played in. Terrific safety shot. And John just tapping the table there in acknowledgement. Well, it's okay, no damage done, even though he caught the blue there.
No path down the right-hand side of the table. Pink's in the way. He's got possibilities of very thick contact on the pack with right-hand spin to get the cue ball down the table. But Reds will be going everywhere if he played that shot. He's probably going to try and sort something else out.
Yeah, I think if he tries to come down the left side, those two reds there are in the way, so that's why he's not playing that particular shot.
He's playing the pot round the back of the black, I think. No, surely not. No.
He's found a pretty good cue ball here.
It's funny. Sometimes when Curran's queuing up on the ball, sometimes players, they sort of telegraph exactly what shot they're going to play. For a split second there, I thought Curran was lined up for the pot. Chance now to perhaps play a 4-cushion safety. Might release the black somehow.
Yeah, he can come up and down. Here's a couple of choices here.
Could put the black more safe, that's the trouble.
It's going going close to the corner, but it's okay.
More safe. Never mind.
Well, he's still looking at the tip there, but I think it's just there's probably a little fibre. When he's queuing up, he can just see it, you know, at the ferrule, and he's just trying to just break it off there with his nail. White's closer this time. No, okay, going to the left. Yeah, most players play with the tip flush with that ferrule, that little metal piece on the end of the cue, and you could see a little fibre possibly in your eye line, and that was just why Karen was just sorting it out there.
Yeah, some players like to play with a sparkling ferrule, no dirt on the ferrule. Other players, like Darren Morgan, at one stage covered his ferrule in chalk, so it wasn't shining at all. Tough shot for Karen Wilson here. Doesn't really know where the red's going to go.
Well, that's brought the black into play, but there is an escape route for John Higgins. In fact, that red next to the pink might go into the right corner. He'll be playing the white down towards the brown at the same time. No, it wouldn't go, but the white, well, even if it hits the green, it's okay. So who's going to win this tactical battle in this important frame? They're all important, but this one's crucial.
Brown would be a nice ball to get behind. I think John Higgins has got a chance from this shot. Carl wasn't so easy to get behind the brown. John could. Misjudged the line somewhat. An even bigger target, Dennis.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the same thing now. He's got quite a margin to get in behind that green and brown.
Four cushion safety is an easier way, but the blues are risk playing the four cushion safety. Two cushion safety is harder to judge the line.
Yeah, it's just awkward there, having to bridge over the brown. And when you're playing with side, it makes it tricky. He's just trying to be ultra careful. He doesn't want to make a mistake at this juncture. Now, if he misses the blue, he's got a chance, but I don't think he's hit it quite hard enough. It's on its way. It was a good effort, but he might have left the pot on. Yeah, he walks back to his seat. He knows a few more inches, it would have been a terrific shot, but John can see this red, and there's a gap to come around the back of the reds. No prizes for guessing where the cue ball's going here in behind the green and brown.
Green ball. John Higgins 1.
There's no easy red to nestle on here. The two on the cushion behind the black spot area. If he played to land on one of those, he could leave the other. The only thing with that, with the black being where it is, you know, he wouldn't leave an easy opening chance for John.
John Higgins potted that red purely as a shot to nothing. He didn't try to get position on a colour. Realised that if he potted the red, he'd have a guaranteed safety that could avail a better chance. So, tough one.
Well, here it comes. He's just trying to nestle onto this one. What an effort this is. Brilliant.
Beautiful shot. Toucher.
He's looking to get up behind the green and brown again, and he can do it here off 3 cushions, possibly 4. There's one. Oh, well, he wasn't touching the red, so he's still heading toward the green and brown, and he's played it perfectly. Let's see John's reaction when he came to the table, rapping it with his knuckles in appreciation of that last shot that Kyron played.
Kyron's playing 2 cushion escape to flick the red that's near the black. The danger would be if he caught it full ball. That would be a nightmare scenario. So erring on the other side, and as you see, he missed it because of erring on that side.
And a miss.
Effectively no damage done, so he can keep on having a try for as long as he likes, as long as he's prepared to keep on giving away the foul points until he catches it thin as he would like. That is far better than risking the same shot he played the first time. Expect him after a couple of goes to get the right judgment.
I'll tell you what, this Crucible crowd have really got involved in this tactical exchange. It's nice to see the big breaks going in, but this is absorbing stuff here. Nine hours now for this semi-final, which has been fascinating to watch. An awful lot of Scottish people around Sheffield supporting John Higgins, but Kyron's got an army of fans here as well.
Excellent shot from Kyron Wilson. Guaranteed that he played a great safety shot. Couldn't really pot the red. Yeah. And do you know what, Dennis? The World Championship played over such a long distance. I don't think there's any other sport, televised sport, that would dare to keep the semi-finals and the finals played over 2 or 3 days. The modern world of saying that you've got to get faster results just shows you how gripping tactical snooker can be.
Can he land on this red? First line's out a little bit, but somewhere along there would get him to it. That looks pretty good to me. Doesn't want to slip around the back of it, and he has.
Wow, and a miss. Kyron Wilson 4.
Bit of a mess where all the reds are, though. Be a clever break to work out from this position. First shot's tough.
I think the fact that he's quite close to this, and that's where being about 6'3" is an advantage, because he's got to somehow get out for the pink, but this is awkward. That's got to be the pink, because the black is awkward. He's somehow got to get himself onto the pink here and create the power to get out on that pink, but this is awkward. That's not a bad effort. He may be on the pink, but he's running away from the reds.
Pink goes into the green pocket. Obviously into the middle as well, if he could work out a path to get back down to the red by the black spot. But I think he's lined up for the green. He's probably tempted for the green pocket. Tough, whatever.
Well, the green's the pocket that will give him better position. But even then, it's not easy. I'm just thinking, if he goes for the middle pocket, he'll have to pass the yellow, and he can come back up. There's one red there just near the black spot that will be available. What a shot this would be if he pulls it off.
I think he can just get to the bottom cushion before the yellow pocket. Doesn't want to obviously mess with the jaws.
Well, where's the pink? No, I thought he was going to fluke it, but look at the cue ball. He got perfectly on the red.
Wilson won.
He played for. He got half the shot correct.
He was a fair way out with the pink. Unfortunately for Karen Wilson, he played a wonderful positional shot. John Higgins identifies that he can get the black on the spot.
One.
That could help him no end. And also he's got enough of an angle on the black that he's going into the red, so he's got options to slightly disturb them. It's pretty tight up there though. He's had a look to see if there's a red that goes into the left corner. It looks like he can just pot the black, play a half a stun shot on the red to the left of the black, and that would give him the red into the left corner. Doesn't have to do much here. Not even a stun shot, just a roll through. And now, most importantly, he needs some type of angle on the black
8
or pink to go into the reds again. Everything's quite tight.
Nine.
Great shot. Initially I thought he was straight on the red, that he couldn't do much with it, but the way he's opened those up is beautiful. Read that nicely. Now it's a frame-winning chance.
That last shot is why John Higgins is one of the greatest break builders the game's ever seen.
16.
Just that cannon was fabulous. And there's another delicate
17.
little cannon. His control is amazing. Now have a look at this, everything tied up, and look how he played that shot. That was brilliant.
$24.
And this time, a little awkward. He'll take the slightly more difficult pot because it's easier to bridge to get to that.
Sure. 25.
few more reds out in the open before he's got to go disturbing any more. They're all big frames, but this would be a wonderful frame to win from this visit, to go 16-13 in front. He looks to have his mind firmly on the job. That blue was hampering him somewhat. Pink didn't go right in the middle of the pocket. So he looked down at the blue there, worried about it. Has to be relatively straight on the pink here, assuming you can't stop for the black.
32. $38. 39.
Not sure if that red at the top of the four reds together goes into the left corner. If it does, it makes this situation easier. He's just having a look to see if that red does go, because then he could just play the stun shot onto the two reds to the left of the pink. The fact he hasn't got down that quickly to play it, he's not sure.
Well, he has the perfect angle to cannon into the four reds, but what John's thinking about is if he can do it without having to risk the cannon. So we'll find out shortly. I think he's just got enough angle.
I think he'd like that one again.
45.
I thought perhaps the hard stun into the two reds might have been an option there, but perhaps it was a bit straighter than it looked.
I think he tried to be a bit too careful there. He had an angle to run through and cannon those four reds, but he thought, I'm not going to risk that. I'll play another little shot, and it just didn't come off. This is quite difficult now from this situation.
Doesn't really want to be rolling down the table. If he pots the red, obviously he's got bought colours, but
46.
When you're making the cue ball travel distance, it's obviously more difficult to get ideal position.
And once again, he's had a look to see if there's a red available. If not, he might have to play the cannon this time. But has he spotted a red that's on? There's one available there, but he's not going to be ideally on it. Just the four
49.
reds, the one at the pinnacle of those.
Well, in potting this, he may well shift those two reds apart to the right of the pink. He might get through the gap, but he might want to shift the reds apart. Very nicely judged.
50.
He didn't blast at that, and that was a sign of confidence. Would have been easy to have panicked and just potted that hard to try and get the tension out of your arm. Fantastic break this has been. Very important one as well.
It's just classic John Higgins. I mean, it's been superb.
56.
And Karen can't do anything about this. What a master tactician
57.
and break builder this man is. And at the snooker's required stage.
63. Ta. 64.
At the business end of this semi-final, he started to produce some amazing snooker, including that fabulous 136 break.
'71. 72.
Well, you've got to admire
79.
the Scottish player. It really is superb. He's had 6 centuries so far,
80.
including that 136 that I mentioned just a couple of frames ago.
'87.
I remember a couple of seasons
88.
ago, Steve, I was in Poland with Ken Doherty and there was snooker on the television. It was from the Far East or somewhere. John was playing Stuart Bingham. He was 8-6 down. And I sat and watched him make 3 century breaks to shut the match out. Amazing he is.
91.
Well, he's been playing granite match play here for many years, but as Ken Doherty said, playing as well as ever.
93.
So determined. And obviously he's enjoying his snooker at the moment. If he survives this stern
96.
test, you'd have to say be a nailed-on favourite in the eyes of the bookmakers for the final.
Another unbelievable century from the Wizard of Wisher. 10 up for John Higgins. And maybe a treble? No, it doesn't matter.
John
He is
Higgins,
an
100
amazing
round the
snooker
frame.
player. Kyron Wilson couldn't do anything about that, and John Higgins extends his lead to 16-13. He just needs one more for a place in the final.
Shot.
And you can tell, now that the pressure's starting to ease a little bit, he's now in full stroke.
Yes, yeah, but that was a fantastic break. He didn't have the blue to work with, and he had to work really hard around the pink and black. But that one shot set the whole frame up for him, and it was a wonderful break, and it will give him a lot of pressure. He's gone out to have a little breather. He knows, you know, one more frame and he's in another final. Incredible stuff,
It
really,
is.
you know?
Anyway, back for Kyron.
No miss snooker and help off his opponent. Doesn't look likely. I can't say it's not possible because I've been on the end of one of them. I was 12-8 up in one of them and got beat 13-12, so it collapsed like a cheap tent. So it can happen, but you need help off your opponent, and the way John Higgins is playing, I don't see that happening.
You've done it. You did it against the late Paul Hunter, as I vividly recall.
Yeah, I think in defence of Kyron Wilson, all he has to do is just the old cliche: take each frame as they come. Don't give it to him easy. Make it as difficult as possible. Stick to your game plan. Don't give him easy opportunity and try and make it as hard as possible for him. But it's very tough against a man who's at the top of his game.
Higgins almost over the line here.
Yes, he is, Hazel, almost over the line, but make no mistake, Kyron Wilson is such a positive person. He won't feel that he's out of the semi-final just yet. Look at the total number of points. He's in front on points, is Kyron, but it's frames that count. Well, it looks as if he's got an angle here to take this on and drop on the black. He has. Well, What an opening pot that was.
And he smells blood. It's not perfectly placed on either of these two reds. Missed a similar one earlier in the match in this session, but this is a bit thicker. Easier to control the cue ball. Don't expect him to miss this one. He's got a red at the back of the pack to play for. Looks like he can pot this and play a run through, but the screw back is also the option. We'll split open nicely there. Didn't want too much on it.
50.
Didn't want to screw back to the side cushion, obviously. Those reds starting to open up a bit. What a way to close out the match this would be.
I think he's just okay. He's got a slight angle on this red here.
22.
Well, though, there's not much. You'll have to screw back with a little bit of reverse side to come out on the black. Didn't
23.
quite get the side that he wanted, but he can still cannon the reds, but got to keep his eye on the pot here. Nicely played, but it's not perfect.
30.
The red into the right corner is taking him away from the black spot area. Now, if this one into the middle, well, he had a look at it, but it wasn't a good angle. So this next shot, there's a little gap there between two reds. He might be able to get to the blue. And he could. And he's played it perfectly. You know, we always say the toughest frame to win is the one that gets you over the line. I don't think it applies to someone like John Higgins. He's so used to this sort of situation, and he's done it so many times in front of this superb Crucible crowd, just under 1,000 people. Is he going to do it in the style we're used to seeing from this wizard, we call him, of Wishaw?
37.
If he does go on to win this frame and match, and it does look like he's really in command, he's going to take some beating in the final. Nobody's outplaying him at the moment. Even when he's had a bad session, he's managed to salvage something from it. That's a sign of a great champion.
Well, there's another 43-year-old in the other semi-final. Mark Williams and Barry Hawkins, who's playing unbelievable snooker. It's going to be a cracking final regardless of who's in it. And John is not quite there yet, but he's not far away.
45.
Two reds on the left of the table going to the right corner. At least one of them must do. slightly
51.
up. Sorry, Dennis. Slightly out of position. This is Kyron Wilson's last hope, you would feel. He's just hoping this cut goes wrong for John Higgins.
It's there, right in the centre of the pocket. And look at the cannon again. Kyron will be fearing the worst now, but he's watching his boyhood hero here, and he'll be the first to congratulate John Higgins, because Kyron knows now that he's played his last shot in this year's Betfred World Championship. But what a championship this young player's had. A future world champion you're looking at there, I would say. Meanwhile, he's just gone a little bit too far for a comfortable blue. Still can't see him missing this one. But this time, is he on the red for the middle? Looking at the body language, he is.
64.
Quick glance at the scoreboard. This and the black, and he'd be in the final. He looked a little tired after his match with Judd Trump. He knew he had a tough match in Kyron. His eyes were a little bloodshot when he came out to play the first session.
72.
But what a way to finish the semi-final. If he goes on to make a century, that would be 3 centuries in the last 4 frames, Steve. That's amazing.
It's been wonderful match play. Total control of the cue ball. He's a great front runner, John Higgins, but when Judd Trump had him, I think it was 7-3.
79.
John Higgins produced some of his best snooker to get back into that match.
80.
It's tough to keep a player like John Higgins at bay. Kyron Wilson's had a great try.
$87. 88.
He's got a horrendous kick there on the blue, but he's not bothered about a heavy contact at this stage. Kyron cracked a little
93.
joke to John there. Isn't that lovely to see? We might not get the century, but he's got a chance to pot the brown, move the red. Oh, he's got the brown, hasn't moved the red. A back double, one of the best doublers in the business. Is he going to try it into the middle pocket?
98.
Or take it up into the corner? It's still on the way to the pocket, but it's not going to reach. For the semi-final, Kyron Wilson comes forward, clapping his hands, and he congratulates the Wizard of Wishon. What a way to finish the match. He is the man to beat in this year's Betfred World Championship. Standing ovation for both players, because Kyron played his part. In the end, John Higgins just too strong, and he runs out a winner, 17 frames to 13.
Outstanding play, an outstanding achievement from John Higgins, and the way he closed that match, gentlemen. 2 tons and a 98 in the last 4 frames. That is the mark of a champion.
A tremendous champion. You can't win a match better than that. And all that match play instincts and all knowing about, being around the course and distance 4 times, all those things came there. And we were talking about he wasn't really scoring that great. Well, he was this afternoon. That came from somewhere, and that is a fabulous way. And if he's not, in the top 3 all-time match players of this game ever, I'll eat my hat.
OK, well, we must obviously pay huge tribute to Kyron Wilson. He's been in 3 major finals. He's got to the semi-final here at the Crucible. That is, again, uncharted territory from him. So hats off to Kyron. He's with Rob Walker now.
Been a superb fortnight overall when you reflect on the tournament.
Yeah, you know, it's such a hard tournament to do well in. It's my first experience of the one-table setup. I think that probably the first session is probably my undoing in this match. I just couldn't catch John after that, and you know, it's just experience. I'm used to it now. I'm looking forward to coming back here next year and hopefully do better.
You looked as though you did settle down into the match after a little bit of a nervy start. You had that 140, and after trailing 5-3 in that first session until deep into the frames we've just watched, you were sharing everything, 4-4, 4-4, and you were always coming back at him, trailing by 3, then trailing by 2 and trailing by 1. You took it to one of the all-time greats, and you weren't far away.
Yeah, you know, he obviously seized on the opportunity of maybe my inexperience early on. You know, I missed a sitter of a red at 4-3 to potentially go 4-all, and then from then on I felt like it was Tom and Jerry. I felt like I'm always trying to catch the mouse and I could just never catch it in the end. And you know, John's just different class. He's absolute granite, and what a fantastic match player and ambassador for the sport.
Well, so are you. You know, you're 26 and you've followed up a fantastic run to the Masters final, getting to the one-table setup here. And it's another one of your ambitions chalked off. Yes, OK, you're still 2 wins away from the ultimate goal, which is becoming world champion. But you said at the start of this season, I want top 10 in the world, which you've done, and I want single-table setup at the Crucible, which you've done once, and you'll want to get back there again. Yeah,
without doubt. The pleasing thing for me is that, you know, I really felt like I did perform, other than the first session. So plenty to look forward to for my career. I'm only 26, so you know, it's my first experience of that one-table setup, and you know, for many years to come, I know that I can play out there now.
And it seems to me that one of your key strengths is the framework and the family that you've got around you. You know, the fact that you've got Sophie here, that you've got Finlay here, you've got other family as well. You're giving yourself the right platform to keep moving forward, aren't you? Because everything at home, touch wood, looks really good and very supportive.
Yeah, you know, you've just got to surround yourself by positive people. You know, me and my family don't do it in halves. You know, we're fully positive. We talk as if we're going to get to the final and win the trophy. You know, we're already booking our hotels for the end of the final. That's how you've got to be. If you want to reach the heights and win the matches, there's no point in thinking, do you know what, I'm not going to have enough underpants for the final. I'm going to make sure I've got them washed. And yeah, just surrounding yourself with positive people. I've got Brandon Parker, my manager, and Barry Stark, my coach, who are very positive in the dressing room, and Sophie, my wife, and my mum and dad, Sonia and Rob, are always obviously supporting me wherever I go. So yeah, I have a great foundation around me.
And I was chatting to them out in Tudor Square in the glorious sunshine just before you came back out. I'm sure you already know this, but their pride exudes for you out of everything they say. They are incredibly proud of the way you're conducting yourself and the quality you produce on the table.
It's obviously the biggest compliment you can have as a son. You obviously want your mum and dad's approval. I'd love to give them back what they've given me, and that is the world. So, you know, I'll try again.
John's a great ambassador. So are you. See you next year.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
What a great player, what an impressive young man he is, and what an impressive champion. This is John Higgins. Back-to-back finals, a 7th final, 20 years after your first. That is one heck of an achievement, John. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Cheers. No, it's good.
I can tell you're emotional about it, but I tell you what, that must have been one of your toughest battles. He would not go away, John.
Well, I mean, I've had my family down, and it's a big thing, and you see him sitting up, and it's a big thing for the family. Obviously, he's going to be gutted for it, but I'm just proud.
Was that, would you say, one of your toughest battles? You talked actually just before you came in there about facing Mark Selby a few years ago when he first got to the one-table setup. Did you see comparisons with him?
Absolutely. Now, I think it was Mark's first time in 2007, and they're different players, but you just get your feeling off them, an aura off them that he thought he was going to win, and he thought he was going to pot everything. And it's quite tough to play against because no matter where you leave him, you're thinking he's going to pot them. And it was only really just at the last session he just missed a couple of long ones, but throughout the whole match he was knocking them in. And he's a great young man, great young bastard, and he'll be back here. As I said to him at the end, he reminded me of Selby in 2007, and then you see what Selby's went on to do the last 10 years.
The thing is there, John, as well, he hasn't lost that match. But, you know, you've won and won it. That's the big thing. And you were just saying to us off air something about you discovered watching the TV last night. What was it?
No, it was the first. It was the second session. I think my highest break was 30, and I left the TV on in my apartment. So I walked back in, and obviously I was delighted with 9-7 in front. But the game was on, and I was having a look at my game, and I just felt I've got a long backswing, but I just felt it was far too long. And I've not got any coaches or anything now. I've got to
carry on.
I've got to actually see it for myself, and I says, no, that's not right. So I put my clothes on, come over, had a 45 minutes practice. I seen Ken, and I think he was asking, what are you doing over? You should be resting or something.
In between the sessions, yeah.
Yeah, and I says, no, I need to try and find something, and I shortened up my backswing, and I felt as if I played great last night, and I played good there. So. Yeah, brilliant. It
is amazing achievement. And, you know, when you look back here last year, Mark Selby, I know in your private moments afterwards, John, you were a little bit down about not being able to carry on and win that one. But did it galvanise the belief that you still have a Triple Crown win in you?
Not really, no. To be honest, it was a big, massive defeat for me. But, yeah, he come back here the second year in a row to make the final again. It's great moment.
OK, so how much is left? It's a long few days, isn't it?
There's plenty left. It's really when you're playing someone like Mark Selby in the final, I won't be playing anyone like that, but I'll be playing two unbelievable players, in Mark Williams and Barry Hawkins. I think that could go right to the wire tonight, really, 17-15, 17-16, either way. It would be some story if it was me and Mark, obviously, all these years later we're in the final, but Barry's a couple of years younger, and he's maybe got a wee angel on his shoulder as well. That's what you look at, and sometimes during tournaments, and he looks great. So it'll be a great final session.
You've seen off some of these young guns, the 26-year-old, the 28-year-old Judd. You've seen off Lazowski as well. It's going to be up against the 39-year-old, or indeed the 43-year-old. This is going to be a cracking match, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait. I had an unbelievable time here last year. And I'm sure over an unbelievable 2 days, whatever happens, I'll go out and just enjoy it.
And what about the family members? Are they all coming
They'll
down?
be jumping cars now. Down. Nobody was really here. I don't think they were really tempting fate. So they'll be jumping trains, cars, planes, whatever. So it'll be brilliant to see them.
And of course, your scoring boots, you found them right at the end, 2 tons and a 98 when the pressure was beginning to mount. And where do you find that from, John?
No, I was just trying to take positives from my game with Judd. Now I was just hanging in there, and then the form came at the end, and then it was something similar there. That's good to know that is there, but obviously I need to start off a hell of a lot better than I did this match.
John, congratulations. We will look forward to seeing you in your 7th final tomorrow. And of course, we still have the small matter of the opponent that this man is going to be facing. And you'll find out along with us from 7:30 this evening, because is it going to be the 40-something final with Mark Williams, or will Barry Hawkins swoop for his 2nd appearance in the final? The Wizard, though, in spellbinding form, yet another final 2 decades after his first. From us all here, goodbye.